Hi, everyone. Yes, okay, we're live now. Hello, everybody. Hi, I am Adeola Damie, Celebration Events Management, and today is Weducation Wednesday. I apologize, I'm a tad bit late today. I had a little bit of a hiccup, but I'm here now. Hello, how are you doing? Hey, Gele Master. I am Shay. How are you? It's good to see you here. I believe this is your first Weducation. How you doing? Hi, Serendipity. How you doing? Okay, we'll just get into it. Today is a Q&A session. Today is a free. You know what I've really missed talking to you guys. I know that for the last few weeks we've been having guests. In the month of January, I focused more on trying to educate and bring people on just to encourage, because I know a lot of people are a little blue about the current lockdown we have right now in Ontario. Certain people are not even sure if they want to go ahead with their wedding or not. There's so many questions up in the air. There's confusion, and honestly, even as a planner, we don't have all the answers, but at least because we do this, we live and breathe this, it's easier because we can sort of source for answers. And also, I feel like we're here to also encourage you guys, right? So thank you to everyone who's been watching and following. I thank you for that. Now, so today's a Q&A session. So for those who don't know how this works, you would leave a question in the Q&A box. So there's a Q&A box right there. Ask me really wedding related questions. No question is off topic. I'm here to educate. I'm here to help. Now, some questions came to me by DM earlier on, so I've put it in the question box prior to this. So I will start with those, and hopefully you guys get comfortable to ask your questions. Okay. All right, so let's see. Hopefully they're here. So again, I put them in earlier, so let's start with this one. Yes. So what are the trends for 2021 weddings? It's funny, I actually had more than one person ask me this question about the trends for 2021 weddings. And I'm going to be honest, 2021, we're still even trying to figure it out. But judging by what we saw in 2020, I'm going to say that there's a few things that thank you. I miss your voice. Thank you. I also miss talking to you guys. I'm glad that I'm doing this today. It's about time we do a Q&A day. Okay, so I feel like judging from 2020, some of the things that I pretty much, not that I'm sure, but I'm pretty close to certain will be trends for this year is one, civil weddings. I believe that we're going to be seeing more people going to, doing a civil wedding. So basically where it's just maybe they go to court or they have an officiant come and join them. Yeah, weddings I think they're still going to be smaller for the next few months. Hopefully by summer, fall, we'll start seeing, the bigger weddings that we're used to seeing. But we'll see. I don't think we can go back to 600, 500 people weddings in 2021. Sorry, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but yeah, so civil weddings, smaller weddings. Also, one thing that's huge that I'm seeing in other parts of the world, not really Canada, but it's trending in places like Nigeria, the US, places where they're already having weddings, is the bridal suite decor. So we're finding that because brides and grooms can't really have the big, large, huge weddings that they used to have, so they're actually splurging and spending more on some memorable elements. And I'm seeing that in the bridal suites, the brides are actually getting the place decorated and having a lot of fun with their look, and they're getting ready photos. So that's something that I think is going to stay. Now, Mint by Shaheen, you're asking to be live in my video. I'm not accepting live viewers yet. So you can put your question in the Q&A box. Okay, thank you. All right, I also think that one other thing is the invitations. There's going to be more electronic invitations. More wedding websites will be utilized, because as we know, paper invitations, they're still really cute. I love them, but electronic is going to be on the rise this year. Hybrid weddings is also something that I know is going to be major this year. No matter how many people you're having, I think it's really cool to have that hybrid. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I see. Yeah, that's fine. No matter how huge your wedding is going to be, I think it's really cool to still keep seeing that element of having virtual guests as well as physical guests. So I don't think that's actually going anywhere, to be honest. I think we're going to see that stay for a long, long time. I also think that people are being more conscious and more intentional about their wedding, in the sense of, if you're going to have a wedding, whether it's 50 people, 100 people, 150, they're trying to make sure that whatever it is, that experience is like top notch, you know? So I know that for us at celebration events, I keep saying it's very important that you give your guests, no matter how many guests you have, give them that experience that they would always remember. Because if anybody is coming to your wedding, they're coming because they really love you. I mean, with COVID and everything happening, they're coming to your wedding, they're leaving. Of course, some people can't wait to party, some people can't wait to come out. Like me, I can't wait. But the reality is there's still that safety concern, right? So if they're coming, I think it's really important that you make it worth their time. So that's a trend that I believe will stay, about being more intentional about your guests. Okay, I can keep going on and on and on, but I want to get to your questions. So, okay, let me give 2 more tips. Okay, I'm just going to give about the cakes. So wedding cakes are getting smaller. You know how we used to have 7-inch, 7-tier? Yeah, who's gonna eat all that cake, right? So cakes are smaller, and there's something that I know we started last year, and again, it's because of the safety concerns, which is individual cake boxes. I believe that is here to stay in 2021 as well. Yeah, so that's my answer to that question. Oh, good. Hi, how are you, Blush and Co? How you doing, girl? Okay, let me see. The next question that I'll take here is that's okay, all right. I'm gonna take that one. Let me just answer this one real quick, because some questions came in earlier. How much does a Nigerian 2-day wedding cost? So Nigerian, Ghanaian, cultural 2-day wedding, how much does a wedding cost? Okay, you know what, I am not gonna be cliche here, but the reality is that there's no set budget, you know. Oh, a wedding can cost this. But the reality about the Nigerian or cultural 2-day wedding is that people think that, oh, because it's the same couple, or because it's the same, sometimes same guests, same family, so it's still one wedding. No, it's not. That's not how it works. It's 2 separate days, 2 separate catering. You have to feed people 2 days, 2 separate videography. Yes, it might be the same photographer, same videographer, but still 2 different events. So I like to say that you should try and at least double your budget, or at least 170% of your budget. What that means is that if your 1-day wedding was going to cost, say, 60,000, right? Then expect that the second day will cost you 70% of that, which I think is 45,000, something like that. So again, I don't encourage people to say, oh, your wedding is going to cost you 10,000, 20,000. I don't know how you guys do that, how you pull off weddings with that kind of budget. But if you're going to spend, I don't know, 40, 50, 60, 100, whatever thousand on your wedding, and you're having a multi-day wedding, then you've got to be ready to either stretch that dollar or give up on certain things. Okay? So because if you're going to be spending the same money and you want to have a multi-day wedding, something's going to give. Something is going to suffer. So if you're having a multi-day wedding, have a multi-day budget. Okay, that's my advice to that. I can't really say it's this amount because every couple is different. Everybody's taste is different. Everybody's style is different. Everybody's expectation is different. So I could have one, and again, that's another thing with me, right? I will custom to you. Of course, there's a limit that I wouldn't even touch. You know, if it doesn't make sense, there's no point. But I can customize. So let's say you have a budget of 50,000 and another person has a budget of 100,000. Another person has a budget of 200,000. You get where I'm going? All 3 weddings will look different because it's based on your budget. But all I'm saying is for that person who asked about the multi-day wedding means multi-day budget. Okay? So don't expect to spend the same $5 on catering because the caterer is going to feed them on Friday and Saturday. Don't expect to spend the same $2 on your photography. Again, that's not what it costs you. You get what I mean? Because the photographer is going to be there on day 1 and day 2 and day 3. So multi-day budget means what? Multi-day budget. Multi-day wedding equals just multiply your number of days by your budget. That's my advice. And if you don't have that much, then you either try and do it all in one day. There are ways that we can do that. Now, that's not the question, but let me just give you a tip. So if you know that your budget is really tight, when I say really tight, let's say you only have, say, $60,000 and you want to have a multi-day wedding. Consider having everything. You can have the multi-day experience, like so I'm Nigerian, so I'll use a Nigerian example. You can have the traditional wedding. You can have the traditional wedding in the morning or in the afternoon, and then do your ceremony in the evening and then your reception. Or you can have your ceremony, your reception, and then bring the traditional components later. Now, I'm just giving you a tip. I can't tell you how you will do it. That is my trade secrets, okay? But all I can say is I've done both, and I'm still doing both even this year, and there are ways to achieve it. So don't try to do multi-day with a one-day budget. It doesn't work. Well, you can try, but I don't advise it, okay? All right. Thank you. I see that thumbs up. Let's go to the next question. Hey, how are you, Hasti? Hi, everyone who's joined. Please leave your question. Today's a Q&A. I've really missed teaching you guys, so let's do that. Okay, I'm going to answer Mimi Angie's question next. What is the best way to get your parents on board with your wedding plans? This one, I understand it even more than what you asked. But I just want to be sure that I am going to answer it the way you want. I know I did a session on parents. I think it's titled Conflict Resolution During Weddings. So go back. I don't remember which episode it was, but I did one. I did one about conflict resolution during weddings. So that one I really took my time to talk about this parental thing. But to answer this question about how to get your parents, the best way to get your parents on board with your wedding plans. Number one, I'm guessing you're African, so let me speak as an African, okay? When it comes to weddings, a lot of our African parents, they believe that it's their day as well. And they're not wrong. I believe that weddings it's a family affair. And again, for us, it's cultural. Like there's so much, right? They've brought you up all these years. So I always advise, number one, there's different things. There's about bringing them on board with your money. Because sometimes they feel, the wedding should only cost 10,000. And you're like, mommy, what do you mean? Even just the decor I want alone is 12K, right? Things like that. So money issues. There's also the issue of guests management. Like, now COVID has helped us, right? Helped us to clip everybody's wings in the sense that you can't have more than a certain number depending on the government regulations. But pre-COVID, one major issue that I will find is that you want, let's say, 150 people wedding, and then your parents are bringing a guest list of 200 guests. Right? Or you're having a multi-day wedding, and you're telling them you only want it this style, you want it this way, and they're like, what do you mean? What do you mean? You can't tell me I have the traditional. Do whatever you want on the white wedding. So different things. So how do you bring them on board, right? Let me get the question right. What is the best way to get your parents on board with your wedding plans? I'm going to say communication. You need to communicate with them. You need to explain what it is that you're going for, the look you're going for, why certain things you want, those kind of things. Communication. And again, I keep saying, education is not just about upselling the value of a planner, but I keep saying, let your planner do the dirty work. Let your planner communicate on your behalf. So communication can be hard. See, when it comes to weddings, emotions run really high. It's a very emotional time. And sometimes, if you're loggerheads with your parents normally, do you think that because you're getting married, everything will now be sweet and daisies and roses? No. Things actually get amplified. Things actually get more tense with wedding planning. So that communication matter is very important. Honestly, very, very. So communicate. Also show them. I know that a lot of parents, they're very visual in the sense that don't just tell me that your wedding is going to cost $100,000. I don't want to hear it. I want to see it. So you need to break it down. Ask that, and that's why if you're working with a professional, ask the professional to break down the budget for you. Say, Daddy, this is how much per head the food, the drinks, the this, the that is costing. You show him, Dad, Mom, For the 150 guests, this is how much the decor per table, the linen, the stationeries, the this is costing. So you insisting on bringing 50 people from the country club, this is how much those extra 50 people are going to cost us, you know? So you got to show them the numbers. Like honestly, numbers don't lie. Show it to them, you know? So communicate, be visual, show it to them. Also, patience. Lots of patience. When they're talking to especially our African parents, they believe that respect, there's no two way about it. So you have to find a way. I'm going to read that comment. You're going to find a way to say what you want, get what you want without being overbearing and being seeming like, oh, now I'm getting married, so I know it all. That kind of thing. So there's so much, but if you want more on this, just message me. We'll talk, okay? And I'll give you more tips and more ideas. So yeah, La Vista Events. Hello, Hasty. Is saying budget is always so painful, but so important to do as soon as possible with a professional planner. Don't come up with a random number. Yes, that's another thing. If you come up, let's say you start planning your wedding yourself, and you just assume that the wedding is going to cost 20,000. Then you inflate that 20,000 to like say 30,000, and you tell mommy and daddy, oh, the wedding's going to cost 30,000. I just come up with some weird things and give it to them, and they approve the 30,000. Or if it's an African parent, they will approve like 25. So you inflate. Anyway, so they approve the 25 to 30K. Then you start planning and you realize, oh my God, the kind of wedding I want is actually going to cost me 60. Now you're like, how do I go back to dad and mom, right? So it's important that you start right. Start right. Get you someone who knows what they're doing so that you don't go back. And that's why will upset your parents, because they're like, what do you mean? We've given you 25. You're coming back for another 25. Where is that supposed to come from? You know, those kind of things. So start right with a pro. Yeah, Anamika's like, patience is key. Yes, patience is key. With parents, trust me, because I'm a mom as well. And when my kids are asking for certain things, and I just feel like, you guys are so spoiled. I didn't have this when I was your age, or I didn't have this opportunity. Like, you know, those kind of things. And you feel like, yes, you can afford to give them, but you want them to work for it. You know that thing? So I get it sometimes with the parents. And maybe that's why I communicate well with the older folk and the younger folk. Maybe. Because I get it. I'm right in the middle there. So please, it's not easy, but trust me, your parents love you. But wedding planning can be very stressful for everybody, including the parents. They want the best for you. They want the day to go. And they also have to remember that they also have to save face with their friends. They're also trying to keep up a certain level of standard with their friends. So they don't want you to just do anything. And that's another thing. If they don't trust your judgment, if they don't trust your style, if they don't trust that you will deliver something that is in line with their tastes, then you guys will butt heads. And that's why if you can at least hire like a professional, like a designer, all that stuff, if they know all of that is in place, maybe they'll relax. Okay? All right, let's go to the next question. I hope I answered your question. Okay, I'm going to take this one that came earlier that I typed in. Please, it was funny when she sent me that DM. She said, please, she was actually, please, help us beg them to RSVP. Okay, so here's the thing. What's happening is that with weddings now, it's very important that when you get invited to a wedding, you respond. Even if you don't plan, if you're not sure, just respond and say, we appreciate the invitation. We'll get back to you at a day or time. If you know you're not going, just not responding or ghosting the couple is not going to help anybody. So it's important that you respond. Please, RSVPs are very, very important. Let me explain from a planner's perspective, okay? Because sometimes maybe the brides and grooms are not telling you guys why they want you to respond. The reason we need to know who's coming, how many people are coming. Like, so again, we don't do the open invitations anymore. But right now, if you're being invited and they ask you that you can bring a +1, either your babe, your mom, your grandma, whatever, we need to know who is coming. We need to know, because there's something now we have to do. It's called contact tracing. We need to keep everybody's contact on file for 30 days, at least in Ontario. I don't know about other provinces. For 30 days on file. When you guys come in at the wedding, we're actually checking who attended, because we need to know who's there for safety reasons, for precautionary reasons, all of that. Now, aside from even COVID, the cost. So now, when the government says, for example, you can only have 100 guests, well, they've given you an invitation. You are on their prime list. when you don't respond, you are actually preventing somebody else from being invited because they have given up. I mean, they've, of everyone they know, they have said, okay, these are the 100 people we want. Now, when you don't respond, they don't know if you're coming or not. Then what happens? So please do the couple a favor, do us the planners a favor by responding. RSVPs are so important, especially now. They're even so much more important right now. Okay, so Asta, you're saying, can we talk about ghosting vendors? Oh my God, yes. So, oh gosh. All right, we'll talk about it. So vendors as well. There's two parts to that, and I'm thinking you're talking about the other one, but let me talk about the first one. Vendors as well. When we reach out to you about whatever it is, you know, is Toby here? Maybe I should speak on him. When we reach out to you, decorator or whatever, and we're saying, listen, this is what's going on. We need you. This is the plan. Don't just crickets go away and we can't hear you. It's wrong. Please, we need to know what's going on. We need to communicate. Communication is so important. Seriously, it's so important. Also, brides and grooms, when you also reach out to the vendors and you say, I would like you to be my planner, or I'd like you to be my decorator, or I'd like you to whatever it is you're contacting the vendor for, and you tell them, my wedding date is April 1st. Guess what I do? I note it down. I hold that date for you. At least for 2 weeks. I hold it for 2 weeks. It's important you let me know. Let your vendors know that you've changed your mind. Let your vendors know that you've booked somebody else. Let them know that you're no longer getting married. Let them know you've changed the plans. Don't ghost the vendors. Let us know. Yes, I figured that's what you're trying to say, Hasti, but I'll just say the other one first because that one is important too. Let us know that, you know, oh, thank you so much. Like she said, I'm going to read it out. Don't just say thank you after a consultation or email. Oh, I meant couples who ghost vendors. Don't say thank you after a consultation or email. It's the worst. Yes. So please, when we spend our time with you, getting to understand your vision, all that value, it doesn't matter, 45 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. Sometimes I spend 2 hours. And then you guys just go. It's not fair. In the words of Patience Jonathan. I'm sorry. I was about to misbehave. I was about to say something. In the words of Patience Jonathan. Those who know what I'm saying. God, there is God. Oh. Okay, I'm going to behave myself. This is an international weducation, so I'll behave myself. No, but in all seriousness, when you have those consultations, it's important that you at least communicate, please. Even if you change your mind, that's okay. Let me know so I can release your dates. And I don't, because believe it or not, weddings are so emotional. Starting from the consultation process. So imagine I've spoken to you for 40 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever. I already start developing a sort of emotional bond with you because I'm like, oh, you know, I love to work with them. I love to help them. Sometimes you tell us all your stories and we're already thinking about solutions. And again, we give a lot, right, during those consultations, whether it's a cake consult, planning consult, florist consult, whatever it is. And then we are like, okay, I can't wait to help A and B do this. I can't wait to help them do that. Well, now I've learned my lesson. I don't start looking for a venue or start actually working on your wedding until you sign that contract. But some vendors actually start thinking about your wedding. And can you imagine? You then just ghost them. You don't even say thank you. You don't even acknowledge the fact that they spent time with you and gave you all that information. And then you decide not to book. That's fine, but just communicate. Okay? All right, I wouldn't overflog the issue. Hey! Hi, Sarah. Grazing Platters in the 6. Hi. Yes, we're having fun here. I want to try and get to all the questions. So let me move on to the next one. Are micro weddings cheaper? Yeah, that question came in today. Are micro weddings cheaper? Girl, boy, well, there's no straight answer to this one, but my short answer is no. No, let me explain. So you might end up saving money because of the number of guests is less, right? So when it comes to weddings, now I don't know who, and this is part of why I started Weducation Wednesdays. Just to educate. And again, of course, I have fun talking to you guys, but I feel like we need to educate ourselves more, especially in my community. Weddings are not cheap. Let's start with that. Let's just get that cat out of the bag. Weddings are not cheap. Weddings are not the same as taking your friends out to dinner Weddings are not the same as a birthday party. Weddings are not even the same as a shower. Weddings are not the same as having a family reunion. Weddings ain't cheap because there's certain things that are just peculiar to weddings. So for example, your bouquet, your florals, your aesthetics. Like, yeah, you hire a photographer for your birthday, but guess what? For your birthday, the photographer will show up. If your party's at 5, photographer will probably show up like 4:30, whatever, right? And they're done at whatever time. For a wedding, they start early in the morning from the getting ready, even before, right? They start prepping the day before because they're getting all their gear together. I'm going to be having a videographer speak to us soon. So he will explain the process. It's a lot. And then after the wedding, there's also the closing, there's the tear down, and then there's the editing, there's the getting the album ready. There's so much when it comes to hey mama, my mom has joined the live. Hi. There's so much when it comes to weddings. So let's get that out of the bag first. Weddings are not cheap because the amount of work that goes into that one day. I mean, we have couples that we start working with 12 months in advance, some 18 months in advance, some 6 months in advance. The minimum, let me not say the minimum, I've done less than a month. But what I would likely like to do, minimum will be 4 weeks in advance. Now, do you think that irrespective of your number of guests, that all these things I talked about, it still comes to play? So that's why, yeah, when people say, oh, as a planner, it's micro wedding, you should discount your rates. Your rates should be like times 10 less. No. I can decide based on my discretion to have like a little bit of a discount if I want to, if I really want to work with you and I'm like, okay, this wedding, that's okay. But you can't force it because now you have half the number of guests. No, because it's still the same amount of work. Now that I've said all that, where are you saving money? Because the question was, are micro weddings cheaper? Ryan, you're saving money based on the variable costs. Variable costs are things like food, beverage, liquor, stationery, linen, some decor. Not really decor because, girl, your head table decor, the whole production, the entrance, the ceremony hatch, all of that is fixed because if you're going to have that, whether it's 5 guests or 50 guests or 100 guests, right? So variable is more about if instead of having like a 400 people wedding as we are used to having huge weddings, now you're having 100, now you're having 50. But remember that 150 guests you're having, because of the laws, the restrictions now, you can't have 10 people on the table. Now we have to seat people according to family bubbles. So I did a wedding where it was 4 people on one table. The maximum they allowed was 6 on one table, 5 on one table. So even though you're having 50 guests, guess what? We may still need up to 10 tables. We may still need up to 12 tables. And all the tables have to be draped. All the tables have to have centerpieces. All the tables have to have, because I don't do dollar store wedding. I'm sorry. No, actually, I'm not sorry. I don't. So all the tables have to have candles and everything else that we've planned to have, right? So a micro wedding's cheaper. I'm going to tell you again. My short answer is no. But they could be cheaper based on the variable costs being less. I hope with these few points of mine, I've been able to convince you. I'm not okay, I'll behave myself. Next question, people. All right, so this one came in through a personal message as well. So I've typed it in and it says, how do I uninvite guests? Hey, yeah, okay, let me read all these comments. These are funny. Yes, I love that. Don't be sorry. No, I'm not. You know what? I'm going to be honest with you guys. Any professional you see that's still standing, any wedding professional that's still working, that's still running their business during this time, guys, it's not easy. Take it from me. It is not easy. So it would have been easier if, let's say, one has like a side business, you have other things you're doing, but for a full-time entrepreneur like me, so don't hate if our rates are what they are, because now actually rates should go up because there's now less, right? There's less demand, there's less work. So really we should be charging more. But because out of the goodness and the graciousness and my church mind, I'm not increasing my rates. I've given myself a price freeze, right, for 2021. But I cannot guarantee that 2023 brides will be paying what 2021 brides are paying. So people, we need to recover our losses. I'm going to be honest. Anybody tell you it's great? For me, it's not great, right? It's okay because of God. It's okay by the grace of God, you know, but we had bigger hopes. So any wedding professional, give them some grace. Please pay them what they ask for and what they deserve. Please. Thank you. Where was I? What question was I answering? Let me go back. I can't even remember. Oh, how do I uninvite guests? Okay. So how do I uninvite guests? That question is deep. The reason is that it starts from how did you invite them in the first place? Now, if you are a 2020 bride or groom, you know, where you'd already sent out your invitations and then COVID happened and now you have to uninvite, I'll answer that in a minute. But if you are currently just about to start planning your wedding, I've said this before, and I know that my session 2 weeks ago with Hasti and Alana, please go and watch it. We also talked about it in good, like we talked about this invitation and inviting guests. So go watch it again 2 weeks ago. January 27th. Yeah. Okay. January 20. So here is what I will say about it. I will just say briefly so that I can answer the rest of the questions. For those of you who are just planning, have multiple lists, please. Just do yourself that favor. I personally am waiting for the announcement. I don't know what day it's going to be, but I know it's this week. About the, you know, what's going to happen with the next phase. We're hoping they will lift the restriction because I don't know how long a lot of us can hold on, you know, with all this lockdown and stuff. I don't know how long we'll survive. So hopefully they lift it. So once they lift it, don't just say, yay, we can invite 200. No. Even if they tell you that the next phase is going to be 100 guests, don't just invite 300 guests because you're like, oh, you know what? By December, we can have 300. No. Still do your plan A, maybe 50. List B, 100. List C, your 300. You get what I'm trying to say? Pace yourself so that you don't have to be in that position where you have to now uninvite people. Now, back to the real question. For those of you who already had started planning your wedding, hey, how are you, Cami? For those of you who had already started planning your wedding and you now have to uninvite guests, what I'm telling my clients is, first and foremost, you sit down, again, you break that list down because you want to know who are the 50 or 75 or whatever the number is that will still be there. And then every other person, 2 ways. I don't just send them an email. I'm sorry you've been uninvited. No. There's a template actually that I have. I don't know if I'll be able to share with you guys. I don't know how I'm going to do that. Asti is good at sharing stuff. But anyway, there's a template that I use. And I should have opened it so I can read out the words to you guys. Maybe I'll type it out. Don't worry. I'll do a post and type it out. How about that? Good. So make sure that you let them know what's going on. Again, everybody knows what's going on, right? With COVID. But just explain it. Now, after... Right? I know. You know how many people have told me that I should start selling stuff. Like I have so much information I can sell and make money. But I just believe in giving. I just believe in giving. You know, when you give, good things come back to you, right? Right? I hope. Okay, anyway. So when you do that, when you send them that template email, then you know what you do next? Pick up the phone. Please. Pick up the phone. Like how many people really? Call all of them. Call. Some people maybe you have buddies with them and you normally chat maybe over text. I don't know. But I'm middle. I keep saying I'm middle school. I'm not old and I'm new enough that I still can, you know, I can still feel among. But I'm still middle school. So pick up the phone, call them. Just give them that respect, that regard to say we would have really loved to share our day with you. But due to we're so sorry. We're looking forward to it. And then the final tip, make sure you have an alternative plan for them. Make sure you have an alternative plan for them, which is hopefully you arrange with someone like Ryan, Aperture Lane, or any of the amazing videographers that do live streaming so that they can still be part of your day. Please, it will really go a long way. And yes, Rania is saying weddings with Nia that people will understand. Yes, they will. Trust me, they will. There's somebody that I've been looking forward to her wedding. Like, I can't even tell you how long we've been talking about her wedding. She got married in 2020. And I couldn't be there because of COVID. So she live streamed it. We all watched it. Of course, me being extra, I had issues with the live stream. But because she should have used a professional, I didn't like the live stream. But anyway. So make sure you have a professional live stream going so that others can at least enjoy the wedding as well. Okay? I'm reading the comments here. You guys are funny. Okay. All right. Okay. What's the... let me see. How many more questions do we have here? Okay, we have... okay. This is good. I think I have actually covered... Yeah, we already covered this one, right? Yeah, we have, about the parents. We did. Micro weddings, we've covered that. Cost of weddings, we've talked about that. Okay, people. Wow. Can you imagine? It's 37 minutes. Thank you to everyone who's joined. Do you have any more questions for me? Because you know I can talk for days, right? I said I was going to do 25 to 30 minutes today, but I'm glad. I think I covered all the questions you had. Do you have any questions for me? I would love to answer them. Now, in the event that if you guys have any issues with your planning or there's something else that comes up, please, I think I'm going to be doing a Q&A at least once a month. I'm thinking of doing it every first Wednesday of the month, but don't hold me to that, because if there's something really hot happening or there's somebody that's, there's something we need to talk about, there's one, I would talk about it too. You know me, I go with, yeah. So, but I'm really, really glad about, you want to talk about force majeure? Are you sure? That will take a while. Okay. So, you know what? I actually was talking with a few of my planner friends that we need to do a session just on contracts. But that session will not be just for brides and grooms. It would also be for wedding professionals. Because I've been hearing that some of you don't have contracts. If you work with me, you would know that one of the first things I ask for after we book you is, I need to see your contract. If you don't have a contract, ask them. I will create one for you. I'll give you a sample template. I'm a template queen. Give you a sample template. This is what it should look like. Go and customize the contract. Make it your own and send it back to me, because I ain't gonna book you without a contract. So force majeure is one of the terms of the contract, of a legal contract, and basically it's, in other ways, it means acts of God. So what it's saying, that clause usually, I wish I could actually open mine and read it to you, but it'll take time for me to open it, so let me try and remember from my head. But really what that clause is saying is that if there's any, they call it acts of God, but really it's not. It's just really natural disasters, fire, earthquake, Now, pandemic is there. Yes, I have updated my contract. I hope you have too. I hope you have a pandemic clause under your force majeure clause. If you haven't done that, go and do it. Anyway, so the temperature changes, stuff that would affect the vendor from actually performing the terms of the contract, from attending your wedding or whatever, that is a term that protects them. So I think I would rather do a session on this, because I don't want to just speak off my head, but force majeure is something that you should have in your contracts. Now, after talking to the vendors, brides and grooms, you have to realize that we are all human and there are some things that we cannot control. So it's funny when, you guys go, Mom, don't expose me here. Yes, they know that I used to be an insurance professional. They know. Anyway, so if for whatever reason we cannot perform, we cannot perform, there are certain things. So like for me, it's there that for whatever reason, there will be, and that's true, there will be somebody else that I would assign, But that's for things like, let's say I broke my leg or there's an accident, right? But if it's like the pandemic and earthquake, then that wedding is not happening, right? So it's important that you educate yourselves with what exactly the contract is saying and how that protects you and what would happen. So you can have that conversation with your planner or your vendor or whoever sent you that to say what would happen in the event that ABC does happen. What is the plan B? What is that kind of thing? So again, if it's like an earthquake, if there's a fire, if there's, God forbid, whatever, it's not happening because more or less that entire day is gone, right? The whole area that was affected, nothing can happen there for people's safety, right? So force majeure is a very key part of the contract. So thank you, Nia, for asking that question. It's a reminder for me to do that session on contracts. I'll add it to my list. I have over 20 topics that you guys have asked for. So I need to get to all of it. And I really cannot commit to more than once a week. I wish I could. There's actually a lot to talk about when it comes to wedding and events, but we'll try and get to it once a week, okay? We will. Yes. Hey, Flo, how you doing? I see you. Do you have any questions for me? All right, so we've talked on actually a few topics today. I'm happy about how things went. I'm going to wrap this up just to respect your time. I know some people they listen to this while they're cooking or cleaning or whatever. But for those of you that are here live, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining today. I look forward to seeing you next week. I'll let you know what is up next week. I have 2 possible guests. We'll determine which one's coming up next week, and I'll let you know. Thank you so much and have a wonderful evening, everybody. Go and watch this back for those of you who are just joining. It was really good. And please, when I post it, share it with intending brides and grooms to be, because I think there's a lot of content here that would help them. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. Bye. Love you all. Thanks. Bye. I'm just going to take some time to look at all of these comments that I missed. Yay! Oh, thank you all so much for coming. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Ooh, LA2 events. Thank you. All right. Ooh, thank you so much, everybody. Astangozi, Komal, Hasti, my girl. Steve Bibian, thank you so much. And Amika. Ooh, you guys, Mimi, Angie, thank you. Like I said, if you have any more questions, let me know. Kekalicious by Jill. Wow. Hi, how are you? Good to connect with you here. Thames Delight, how you doing? Creative Vessels. Hi, Topsin. Congratulations on your engagement. Kimi Ayar Events. Blush and Co. Costa Guatemilio. I don't think I've ever met you, but thank you for joining. Of course, Gile Master, Serendipity Space. Everybody, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm going to end this live now. I'm going to end this. I just wanted to really acknowledge each and every one of you. And I know I've missed some people. Oh, God, I hope I don't get in trouble. Mumble Bees, honey. Hi. Okay. Okay, Jackim Productions, Roselle and Co. You guys, thank you so much. Naila Events. Oh, Sister Catherine. Oh, boy. Falarin, my mama, thank you all. Okay, I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna end it. Thank you all so much. Lade, wow, thank you for joining all the way from Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining, sweetheart. All right, everybody, have a good night or day or whenever you're watching this. Bye, everybody.